Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, they're holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
Hi. What if you don't like it, William? Hit the dislike button. That actually is just as engaging to YouTube Daddy. So I accept both likes and dislikes. Thank you everyone for being here. Sorry for being so late. Wow, very late. I'm sorry. What was cooking was somebody getting out of the house. And me, I have not cooked yet. I have recorded some court. I haven't even opened my energy drink yet, and I think as I thought that, I was like, we'll open it together. We'll have a drink together of my zero sugar Rockstar strawberry lime. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I had dinner with Iowa once in Florida. Legal fiction. Amazing. Holy shit. That's a different court that I'm gonna record. Legal fiction, amazing. Gifting. October is the month of gifting in Canada because it's Thanksgiving. And happy Friday to you too. Oh my god. Oh my god, we're back again. Seriously, thank you so much. Oh my god. I was just gonna say, I have literally been waiting to drink this. Mr. Pole, 8 months. Hey, if you got a new membership from Legal Fiction, make sure to say thank you. But secondly, make sure to use it. Go back and watch some of these members only. Oh my god, Katie9. Phones? Actually, you don't get in trouble for your phone ringing here. But, okay. So this morning, hurricane, what? What kind of hurricane? A hurricane of memberships. Anyways, I need caffeine. I haven't had any. And I realized that my brain is not functioning and I shouldn't have waited. I should have just fucking drank this so that I could have perhaps executed getting here better. Oh, the memberships. Go watch the old members only. You have access to all members onlys. So go back and watch them all. If you haven't been there, there's some crazy shit. I can't even talk about some of it, but you can watch it. This is not a Russian energy drink. Don't you guys have this in America? I couldn't find it when I went on my last trip. This is Rockstar Strawberry Lime, zero sugar. It is become a bit of crack to me. I really love it. If I can find this, I'm very happy. I do believe I'm having an impact now on the 7-Eleven near my house because they have the cheapest price and I've been drinking a lot of it. So I think I'm impacting it because now there's 2 rows of it. Anyways, I didn't know that the government was still shut down. This is $2.50 Canadian, which is like $1 or something US. Much more powerful. I don't know. I think it's the taurine that I like. I think there's taurine in it. I don't know. High caffeine. Yeah. Tell me about it. But remember, in Canada, things are a little different. So, like, carbonated water, citric acid, sodium citrate, erythritol. That's the one that makes you shit. Sucralose, sodium benzoate, caffeine, acesulfame, potassium sorbate, taurine, niacinamide, blah, 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 vitamin B3, calcium, blah, blah, blah. Lots more. There's lots. There's lots. There's a reason that you can't buy this in all the stores. Just the good ones that want to sell you the drugs. Anyways, I didn't realize the government shutdown was still impacting some people. Let's put it that way. We're about to hear about that in a case from Kansas. But it's a little bit of this, it's a little bit of that. Let's see. It's funny. I shouldn't have even fucking made that. Again, my brain was not working. Whatever. It's funny. It is what he says is happening, and I have some thoughts about it, but we'll see what's happened. Anyways, we're going to Judge Murfin. That's right, Judge Murfin. Do you know who Judge Murfin is? Because he knows who you are. Not a Merkin. If you know, you know. So, wait. Wrong case. Isn't it? Is it? I think Amanda's not related to Gibson.
Appears in.
Yeah. Okay, I was confused. I was like, wait, Amanda? Amanda did not get with Gibson, but that's right. It's Rosine down here. Okay, now we're good. I was getting a little freaked out. I was like, oh fuck, now your brain's just mashed them all together.
Jessica Rosine and Kyle Gibson. The case number is Butler County 14 BM 090. DCF appears by and through Miss Hawks. Mr. Gibson appears in person and pro se. Miss Rosine appears in person and pro se. Miss Rosine, I think at one point along the way, you may have been represented by Mr. Swenson. Is he no longer representing you in this matter?
No, sir, he is not.
Okay. All right. We're here on a motion seeking modification of child support, basically amending or proposing to amend from the current order of $1,044 per month to $916 per month. Ms. Hawks, could you please describe the nature of your proposal and any changes to your prayer at this point?
Yes, Your Honor. So the state did file a motion to modify child support. This previously, at the beginning of the year, well, the child support obligation had been $232. And then a modification was sought early spring towards the summer. And that's when it was modified to, I believe, the 1,044. Another modification has been sought, and I prepared a child support worksheet that shows a guideline amount of $916. First, though, before we get too far into this, I would like to ask if father is receiving any VA disability or retirement benefits. I had spoke with mother and she had asked me that question. I looked at father's domestic relations affidavit. It did not have that listed on there. I just found out yesterday that we do have the ability to find out if an individual is receiving VA disability or retirement. We just don't have the ability to find out what that number is. So first I would ask father if he is receiving any benefits through the VA.
I think you might be muted, sir.
Okay, can everybody hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is all new to me, Your Honor. Before we get into the VA disability, I'd like to expand on what I believe Miss Hawkins said.
Ooh. 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 The circle speak begins. That sounds like a yes to me. But what do you have to say, sir? What do you have to say, Gibson?
The case was originally closed for child support back in 2014, shortly after the divorce, and reopened in October with a $30,000 back pay and at $1,000 a month. So there was no, hey, this is going to be modified or nothing like that ever given to me while I was living in California. As far as the VA disability benefits, after serving 13 years in the Army, I'm rated at 30% and it's around $600 a month. Also on the child support worksheet Ms. Hawkins prepared, it doesn't list I have any other dependents, which I do. The pay amount that she has on here is $92,712 is drastically wrong by at least $12,000.
Your Honor, if I may respond to
Yes.
that. So, I did not include, a multifamily adjustment because, uh, Miss, Rosine had sought a modification back in May. Mr. Gibson chose not to participate in those, proceedings. He did not respond to any of the, correspondence from DCF to fill out any domestic relations affidavit or provide us with any information. So we went off an employer verification letter at that time. We did not know that there were any other younger children living in the home, so the multifamily adjustment was.
You guys, we are going to hear of this gentleman is working without pay right now for the federal government. That is part of why this hearing has been brought forward. And we're going to hear him talk about that. They work in the criminal justice department, like in the corrections field. I don't know, I can't remember if he's like in the jail, but the whole point being that they're at work and you'll hear the judge say something that hackled my Canadian sensibilities.
Was not included. Now, Mr. Gibson is seeking a decrease in child support, and the guidelines allow for a multifamily adjustment at time of original order or when an increase is being sought. So Mr. Gibson's time to use that multifamily adjustment was in May, when an increase was being sought. Now he's asking to decrease his child support, and I don't believe the guidelines do allow for judicial discretion at all times, but I believe that the guidelines are specific that it's for the non-custodial parent when an increase is being sought, and he's seeking a decrease. And so that's why I did not include the multifamily adjustment. As for income, if you give me just a moment, I can speak to where I got that number.
I don't think
And
that's fair. You have to
during
give
this
him a
time in May,
multifamily adjustment.
I was never received any paperwork, even speaking with DCF on the phone. Never given any paperwork through the whole time. The only paperwork I ever received was in October, was when I got told, hey, you owe $1,000 a month plus $30,000 back pay, all the way dated back to the original divorce decree. Um, I know it's hearsay, but speaking with DCSF on the phone, I was advised that the petitioner can open and close the child support case as many times as she would like. So there's never any paperwork received at my address that's been on file with DCSF since I moved to California. That was on file with her attorney at the time since I moved to California. No paperwork was ever received in the mail.
Okay.
Your Honor, Mr. Gibson provided a domestic relations affidavit with 3 pay stubs. I averaged the gross pay on those 3 pay stubs, which came out to an amount of $7,726 a month.
Mr. Gibson, are you suggesting that that number is incorrect?
Absolutely, sir. If I may, I'm not sure if I could show evidence on here. On the pay stubs provided, it has my pay plan grade step, which is a GL9 step 9. I'm a lieutenant for Federal Bureau of Prisons. As you sure knows, at a shutdown right now. I don't know if you could see this, but for my grade step, my it says 86,365. Let's see, try to get this camera right. So if you see the highlighted section, right, 9, and then you follow all the way over. Oh, I hate these things. Can you get a
Yeah,
clear view?
it's difficult for me to
Okay.
see. Maybe you could
Yeah.
just read to me what you think is relevant there.
So it just shows my step and my pay grade, right? Which is GL9 step 9. The annual income is 86,365 for the Dallas Fort Worth area, and that you can find that on the salary table 2025 for law enforcement officers for the Dallas Fort Worth area. It's going to be different than regular street police or those, but that's what it has me making yearly. So that's 92,000. That was my income in California, supposedly at some point in time. But I took a $33,000 pay cut coming out here to Texas for a promotion. And Your Honor, if I may add, since October, I've sent DCSF 6 times modification paperwork. All 5 times they told me I never received anything, never received anything. Until this last time I was provided an email. So I emailed it to them and I also sent it in via paper. And now I have a court date.
Uh, as far as, and I'm not finished maybe hearing from any of the parties, but I do want to give Ms. Rosine an opportunity to weigh in. Based on what you're hearing to this point, ma'am, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Your Honor, not particularly. That really pertains to the case in child support. In reference to him stating that the child support order previous was closed. I actually spoke with DCF on the matter. That was not anything that had to do with me. During the time that I joined the military and I went to basic training at AIT, my mother was caring for the minor child. And since she was caring for the minor child, I was sending money home, and she also applied for assistance through the state. So when they closed the assistance through the state for my mother, that's when the case was closed, and that's what that reference is. But as anything else, I don't really have anything because this is not child support, you know.
All right, Ms. Hawks, having heard from both Ms. Rosine and Mr. Gibson, is there anything more that you wish to add at this time?
Well, Your Honor, it sounds like Mr. Gibson is receiving some VA benefits. Said, I think I heard the number was 600. I believe our child support worksheet is 916. I suppose I would defer to Ms. Rosine. I think there's 2 ways we could do this. We could either continue this to give Mr. Gibson an opportunity to provide DCF with statements of his VA disability or retirement monthly statement, so we can include that income in the child support worksheet. If it is $600, it would probably increase that 916 slightly, but I don't know by how much. If Ms. Rosine's fine going forward with the 916, I would be okay with that as well today.
Ms. Rosine?
I would like it to be factored in, please, so we can extend it if we need to.
And with the extension, I think would only be fair that Mr. Gibson be given an opportunity to present current income data as well. I mean, he's explaining that from his perspective, at least, the income that has been ascribed to him might be higher than his actual earnings. And I just want everybody to know that I'm very happy to extend this to try to get more data points and try to have as much precision as is possible in the calculation. But I just don't know where that will end up. I don't know if it would push numbers up or down. And of course, Mr. Gibson is also asking the court to consider whether or not there should be any adjustment for a multifamily discount.
6. Hi. You didn't miss that, actually. I'm holding that in my back pocket. Sorry. And I've got another hot tip for another hot case, so I'm recording that on my other computer. This one happened this morning, and I thought it was sort of relevant, so we're watching that. We're doing a whole hour tomorrow night on which judges would you sleep with, have you slept with, maybe even more. We'll see. So don't forget to tune in tomorrow night.
I haven't ruled on that question either, but I think that given that there are so many moving parts, I think it's important that we try to get this right. And I think that I would like to set this over to give Mr. Gibson an opportunity to augment the income information that DCF has with any additional information that he has so that a new worksheet could be computed. Certainly, Ms. Rosine, if there's any changes or additional information concerning your income, that would be important to also forward on to DCF. And then in the meantime,
We did that last New Year's legal fiction, didn't we? Smash or pass judicial officials. I'm pretty sure we did, because that's why we have the emojis for smash and pass.
I'll consider the question, and I understand where the bias would kind of naturally flow, but I do understand the court has some discretionary powers as well. But I'll consider whether or not I think there should be any multifamily discount and or factored in, and then from there, what I would like to be the case when we reconvene, Ms. Hawks, if you can have your best worksheet available, but also open in case the court should decide to factor in the multifamily. We could do that hopefully in real time on the record. What kind of time frame do you think you would reasonably need, Ms. Hawks, to get information and factor those things into your new calculation?
Well, Your Honor, I always like to have at least 2 weeks before the hearing to be able to mail that out to the parties, and so at least a week before that to review that and give me time to prepare. I will say, and I'll go ahead and get these prepared for filing, the pay stubs that Mr. Gibson provided me that are from June and July, and they do have his base salary, so I am aware of that, but he does have some overtime so I factored in the gross. So if he's only going to provide me that pay scale, I don't foresee myself changing the income on the child support worksheet. I'm going to base it off of the gross income he's actually making. So if he can provide me pay stubs that are more recent than July 26th, that would show a decrease in income, I'll definitely consider that. But right now, what I have, I believe, is very accurate. So I guess depending on when the court wants to set this for hearing, I would say Mr. Gibson needs to provide the VA benefits and any income information to me at least 3 weeks in advance so that I have time to get that information out to the parties.
Can I ask a couple questions by any chance, Your Honor?
Yes, yes.
So in factoring in the income withholding worksheet, that overtime on the pay stubs is not guaranteed. I'm a lieutenant at a federal prison with 1,400 plus inmates. The overtime's not guaranteed. Lieutenants are gonna get stuck after their 8-hour shift. So same with the captain, the AW, and the wardens. Ms. Rosine knows she was employed by the State Department of Corrections in Kansas. As to her timeline she's speaking about, basic and AIT. So that was well before we were ever married. The case was closed after 2014, after the divorce was finalized. I have children on this worksheet that follow in each bracket. If you have any questions, please ask, Your Honor. I'm an open book, ma'am, Ms. Hawkins, you too. But the overtime is not a guaranteed thing. It's not every day. It's not something I want to do. As far as the insurance, the health insurance, I could provide health insurance coverage, dental, vision. I've never ran from anything, Your Honor.
Well, and nobody's implying that you had run from anything, and certainly I think everyone appreciates both of your efforts to serve our country and continuing to serve the communities you're in.
Yes, even though you're not wearing visible camouflage, thank you for your service. Mikey, thank you for your service. Great shows this week, as was said. I know this week has been frustrating for many different reasons. But imagine, well, actually, it's actually not hard as a YouTuber. Oh my God. I was just about to say, imagine you do all this work and then you don't get paid. That happens sometimes as a content creator. But not quite the same. I mean, you're not working in a jail usually. Although, Mikey, you do often appear from jail. Anyways, I hope you have a good Friday. Judge is about, I know. Judge is about to, I think, say something so out of touch. Oh, Bill had a question? What?
By the work you're doing now. So I don't want you to in any way feel demeaned, because that's not the purpose here.
I just feel like I'm getting railroaded, sir, to be honest with you. As of right now, I can't provide any pay stubs. The federal government's in a shutdown. I'm personally not getting paid. So there's nothing I can provide you more than what I already have. You take out the overtime, you included VA benefits, something that I've earned that shouldn't even be included in this. But health insurance, dental, vision, I can provide all of that. I'm required a copy of the birth certificate and social security number. And there's just an unfortunate situation that should never happen, but that's another court hearing for a different time.
Well, I think that there are a lot of moving parts, and in all candor, I didn't read the file back to inception. So you're speaking about some historical data points that I'm not immediately familiar with. By the time we reconvene, I will have reviewed the file in its entirety. And I think that it might make sense for us to go ahead and set this over into early January. I mean, I know that none of us could speculate with any kind of certainty about when the government shutdown will come to an end. I believe there's some optimism that that might be sooner than later, but again, no way of knowing for sure. But I'd like to, if there is a time frame that kind of makes sense from everybody else's perspective, that would potentially allow for newer pay stubs to be submitted, if that's what you want to do, Mr. Gibson, that you have a chance to do that. I had, but I do not have in front of me January calendar. I apologize. Miss Jackie, what January dates do we have at this point?
Yeah, January 16th, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Hawks, do you think, just given the nature of number of moving parts at this point, that might be a good date to set this to make certain that everybody has a chance to be heard in terms of documents that they submit to you, and also giving you some time
That's
to
91
consider
days.
the data and perhaps run a new worksheet?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
In person, it's blonde. Although there is, I do have gray hair. KD9. we've talked about this before. I can't get the lighting right. But if you're lucky enough to get a picture of me from my phone, I do look blonde. So. I'll have to get my hair redone in January.
Oh, Mr. Gibson and
Yes,
Miss Rosine, does that January 16th date at 10 o'clock in the morning work on your calendars?
yeah, would that be better for in person out there in Kansas or another Zoom meeting
Well, it will be by Zoom again. It'll
by
be
Zoom?
using the same meeting ID and passcode
Okay.
that you're using today. Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor,
And
that's
I
fine
do,
with me. I just need a date.
okay.
And then
Yeah,
also,
go ahead, sir.
also, if I may, at the meantime, I assume it's gonna be stuck at 916 or 1044.
It's at 1,044 right now, pending any change.
How am I supposed to pay my rent? I haven't been, I've been lucky enough, I have a landlord.
I would suggest you hustle, sir. I do it every month. You don't have to hustle.
That understands the court proceeding and understands what I'm trying to do, but I haven't been able to pay rent. My rent's at $1,000 a month. Um, I'm not getting paid, so I'm kind of running out of gas money to afford to work. Um, there's just some circumstances piling up on my end.
I mean, the banker in me says with that income, hopefully you don't have a very high TDSR and maybe you could get a loan. But if you're actually broke, then you're a bit fucked. Aren't you?
And it's just unfortunate, Your Honor. I don't.
Well, it is indeed unfortunate, and I know that it sounds like your circumstances are much like those that many of us contend with, where even a brief interruption in the pay that we're earning from our work can have some pretty profound impacts through our household and with our families. But at this point, I think my zeal is to try to hear everything that you're saying, everything that Ms. Rosine is saying. And as far as a mechanism for any kind of modification, the proposed modification that I'm seeing at this point is, and I know when you're not getting any money, a dollar might as well be the moon, but it's a relatively small, what is it, $128 or something like that, proposed modification. I know Ms. Rosine is, uh, from her perspective, reasonably moving the court to consider a potentially higher number if that's what the worksheet should yield. I know from your perspective, Mr. Gibson, you're wanting the court to consider a potentially, and from your point, reasonably meaningfully lower number. If the court were to consider multifamily adjustment, if the court were to be privy to some new numbers that might show, I think you said maybe an income of something like 12,000 less than was used on the original worksheet. Those are all considerations the court will have to keep in mind. But I think that at this snapshot in time, I would be in a position to think that the best way to go forward is to leave these other decisions until we have the data points and try to make a good decision once for all, rather than trying to meander around the milieu of different numbers in the meantime. And I do concede and I do understand, and I'm very sorry that that works a hardship on you, but I think it's the most reasonable way forward from the court's perspective.
So then, just to be
Um,
clear, so it's on the record, when I send in another worksheet for the 7th time to include the birth certificates of the children living in the house and all that relevant information, again, that's what I need to do, correct? Is that what Ms. Hawkins is asking for?
Um, basically, I'm wanting you to feel latitude to advise the court in whatever you think are important considerations in this. So, yeah, if you want to update the income numbers, such as those pay stubs are available to you. And I realize the government shut down, but I don't understand how that would necessarily make you in a position where you wouldn't be privy to your own prior pay amounts. I mean, it seems like
Yeah,
those would be available for you.
the prior
But
ones I get, Your Honor. I'm just saying any new ones like from last weekend,
right, right.
I won't
No,
have
I
any
understand.
updated stuff. And unfortunately,
Well,
sir, as a lieutenant, right, the overtime is gonna happen. If there's an incident in the institution, I'm stuck after my
He's stuck. They have to do all that paperwork and they get paid for it, so they do. I saw a sign the other day and it said chocolate coffee men. Some things are just better rich.
shift, completing paperwork, medical assessments, getting inmates to and from the hospital.
right.
There's ins and outs that overtime sometimes is unavoidable. It's not
Well,
a,
and like you said, and like you explained, it's also unpredictable. So I understand where you're coming from there. But my prayer for you, Mr. Gibson, is that the shutdown ends quickly. I think there's, from what I'm understanding, just reading the news, having no expertise in the matter, there might be back pay provided at that point. And
Might be. That's the confusing part here, and I'm not trying to be political, but th- if they're working, they really. Signs don't say anything. You have to read them. Fair enough, Sir Philip. But every time I read a sign, I hear it in my brain.
I know that would be a blessing for you. I hope that proves to be the case. But I want to, as much as it's possible, make a good decision when we reconvene. I am going to set this over to January 16, 2026 at 10 a.m. And I
Is that
didn't confirm,
91
Miss
days
Rosine,
from
does that
now?
date and time work for you, ma'am?
Yes, sir, it does work
Okay,
for me.
okay, okay. And I'll give each of you an opportunity to update Ms. Hawks to the extent you would wish to. And I will be, in the meantime, reviewing the file, and I will be considering the question of application of a multifamily adjustment. And if Ms. Hawks thinks it's appropriate based on the information she receives, she could run a new worksheet if she thinks the one she has accurately reflects the circumstances. We might have only that same worksheet available when we reconvene, but in either case, I'll ask Ms. Hawks that you have it up to the extent the court may wish to consider the multifamily adjustment.
Your Honor,
Yes,
before
ma'am.
we go, I would ask that Mr. Gibson be ordered to provide his VA benefits monthly statements to DCF by December 15th. And then if he wants DCF to consider any other income information, that also be provided by December 15th.
I think,
Oh, I
go ahead,
apologize.
sorry.
Additionally, I don't need birth certificates for his other children. I don't question that those are his biological children living in his home. I just don't know that I agree that he should receive credit for them on the multifamily adjustment based on the Kansas Child Support guidelines. But I'm not questioning the validity of whether or not they are his biological children in his home. I think it's just gonna be whether he deserves credit for them on the worksheet or not, but I don't need their birth certificates.
Okay. Well, and I do think that December 15th deadline for either Ms. Rosine or Mr. Gibson to submit the data they would like to have considered and including the VA benefits makes sense, and that gives you a chance to work on that worksheet such as you deem it appropriate. And if a new worksheet is indeed submitted in the case, that could be mailed to the parties ahead of time so that hopefully we could move through to a conclusion on January 16th. All right. Well, look forward to seeing each and all January 16 at 10. And thank you, Ms. Rosine. Thank you, Mr. Gibson, for coming in.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I need to go off camera and off mic for a moment to make some notes here.
Are we
Me
free
too,
to
Judge.
end the call?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, everybody's free to end the call. Thank you for joining this call. If you need me to sign off on any billable hours or any like community service, let me know. Probably in the Discord would be the best for that. That's it for today. I have to go exchange my services for money for a little while today. But I thank you for being here. Legal Fiction, thank you again so much. I really appreciate it. I've got a court recording over here. I've got court recording in my brain, I guess. But we'll be back tomorrow night with that. I do have the sound bite. Did we already listen to the sound bite? We did. But with her accusing her ex of sleeping with the judge. Wild. Anyways, do me a favor. In the meantime, remember that I love you and I'm proud of you, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye. Bye.
Ways down and ready to ride.